My family stole my car for a secret trip. I stayed quiet until one move changed everything. I exposed their betrayal, turning their control into my freedom with a daring stand. Will my defiance shatter their grip forever? Hi, I'm Ellie Harper. 2 months ago, I opened the drawer where I kept my engagement ring, a relic of a life I'd left behind, and instead found the courage to spend my savings on a 1998 Honda Accord, a symbol of freedom my family stole for their secret vacation, treating me like I was nothing. I stayed silent, but one bold move turned their control into my triumph, exposing their betrayal in a way they never saw coming. The autumn mornings in Boise, Idaho, carry a crisp, biting chill that seeps into your bones, sharpening your senses as you stand in a world that feels both familiar and hostile. I stood in the gravel driveway of my parents' Meridian home, staring at the empty space where my car should have been, the faint tire tracks a mocking reminder of its absence. My heart pounded, a volatile mix of dread, fury, and betrayal, as I realized my father, Greg Harper, and my older brother, Tyler, had taken my Honda Accord for a secret trip they hadn't bothered to mention, leaving me stranded after a grueling 10-hour shift at the hardware store where I worked part-time to fund my dreams. I'm a freelance mechanic, my side hustle fixing cars a quiet source of pride, a skill honed in borrowed garages and late-night YouTube tutorials. But to my family, I'm the invisible daughter, perpetually eclipsed by Tyler's flashy tech bro ambitions and my mother Linda's unwavering devotion to Greg's every whim. I'd been living in their cramped guest room, a temporary refuge while I saved every penny to escape their suffocating control, when I bought the Accord, a rusty, coughing relic that cost me $2,000 every cent scraped from my hardware store wages and occasional repair gigs. It wasn't just a car, it was my lifeline, my declaration of independence, painstakingly restored with new tires, a tuned engine, a fresh battery, and countless hours of labor under flickering fluorescent lights. Each repair replacing the alternator, patching the exhaust was a step toward a future where I answered to no one, a tangible promise of freedom I could grip like a steering wheel. But to Greg and Tyler, the Accord was just another toy for their taking, a pattern rooted in years of unchecked entitlement that defined our family dynamic. Greg, raised in a household where his every whim was indulged, believed family meant serving his desires without question, a philosophy he enforced with an iron grip. Tyler, his smug shadow, amplified that arrogance, turning it into a cruel art form, mocking me as too sensitive whenever I dared protest their invasions. This wasn't a new wound, it was a lifetime of them, layered like rust on neglected steel. At 16, I'd saved for a laptop for school, only for Tyler to claim it for gaming, installing software that slowed it to a crawl, Greg dismissing my anger with a curt, "Let him borrow it." The laptop never returned without his greasy fingerprints, a symbol of their disregard. My clothes, my tools, even my time, nothing was sacred, all fair game in their eyes, with Linda's weak. That's just how they are, excusing every theft. Her apathy, a silent complicity that cut as deeply as their actions. The Accord was different, a line I thought they wouldn't cross. I'd poured $1,500 into repairs. Each bolt tightened a rebellion against their control, but they saw it as theirs to use, taking it for joyrides without permission, returning it dented, littered with trash. Tyler's, "It's old. Who cares?" a slap to my pride. Hiding the keys didn't help. They'd pry open my room. Tyler's, "You're paranoid," a gaslighting jab that echoed Greg's, "It's just a car." Their latest theft, a weekend vacation they didn't deign to mention, pushed me to the edge. I'd called the police, my voice trembling as I reported the theft, only to learn Greg had been pulled over for speeding, Tyler laughing in the passenger seat like it was a game. At the station, Greg had the audacity to lecture me, "If you weren't so selfish, we wouldn't need to do this." I snapped back, my voice raw, "You stole my car." His response was a sledgehammer. "If you can't live under my roof, you're out." 2 weeks to pack. Tyler's smirk, his good luck out there dripping with malice, was a cruel punctuation. Linda's silence a final confirmation of my invisibility. I stood in the driveway, rain soaking my worn jacket, the Accord's dent glaring like a scar, my diary tucked in my duffel holding the raw truth of their betrayal, its pages a vow to reclaim my life. Boise's gray sky loomed overhead, heavy with the weight of their dismissal. But beneath it, a spark of resolve ignited, a quiet fire that burned hotter with each moment I stood there, alone but unbroken. I wasn't just fighting for a car, I was fighting for myself, for the right to exist beyond their control, their theft a wound I'd transform into a path to freedom, a promise etched in every line of my diary, a story I'd rewrite with every step I took away from their shadow. My family stole my Honda Accord for their secret vacation, treating me like I didn't matter, but I stayed silent, plotting a move that would shatter their control. I exposed their lies, turning their entitlement into my victory with a camper that became my home. Will my stand break their grip forever? The weight of Greg's ultimatum, 2 weeks to pack, and Tyler's mocking. Good luck pressed down like a physical force as I stood in the Boise driveway, rain soaking through my worn jacket, the dented Accord parked haphazardly, a painful testament to their disregard. The interior reeked of fast food and sweat, littered with their trash-crumpled wrappers, empty soda cans, a careless desecration of the one thing I'd fought to call my own. I cleaned it out methodically, each piece of garbage a rejection of their narrative that I was the selfish one, my hands trembling not from the cold but from a fury that had simmered for years, now boiling over in the quiet of the meridian dusk. Living under their roof had been a daily surrender, every corner of their polished home a reminder that nothing belonged to me, not my possessions, not my time, not even my voice. Greg's entitlement, forged in a childhood where his every desire was met without question, cast a long shadow over our family. His belief that family does what I want, an unspoken law enforced with a steely glare. Tyler, his eager apprentice, turned that arrogance into a weapon, mocking my protests as drama, their duo a relentless assault on my boundaries. Linda's boys will be boys was a weak shield, excusing their thefts my books, my clothes, my hard-earned laptop, leaving me to hide what mattered or lose it to their whims. The Accord was my rebellion, purchased with $2,000 scraped from my part-time job at Boise's Ace Hardware and freelance mechanic gigs. Its repairs, new tires, battery, exhaust a labor of love. Each wrench turned a silent vow to escape their control. But to them, it was just another tool for their use, taken for joyrides, returned dented and littered. Tyler's, it's old. Who cares a dismissal of my pride? Greg's, don't make a big deal a demand for my silence. Their latest theft, a secret vacation they didn't bother to mention, was the breaking point. I'd called the police, my voice shaking as I reported the theft, only to face Greg's lecture at the station. You're selfish! His eviction order hit like a physical blow, Tyler's smirk a cruel echo, Linda's silence a confirmation of my expendability. I packed my belongings, 2 duffel bags of clothes, a toolbox, a few books, each item a hard-won victory, my diary capturing the raw pain of their betrayal. They stole my car, my home. I'll build my own. With $300 left, I drove away from their Meridian house, the Accord's engine coughing but steady, ending in a grocery store parking lot on the edge of Boise. I curled up in the driver's seat, a hoodie for a pillow, the night cold and unforgiving, Boise's streetlights casting long, lonely shadows across the lot, my fear of failure clashing with a fragile relief at escaping their grip. I woke stiff and groggy, the seat digging into my back, but a fierce determination burned beneath the exhaustion. Greg's, you'll come crawling back, and Tyler's, you'll fail, echoed in my mind, their voices a challenge I refused to accept. I journaled, sketching a broken wheel, its jagged lines mirroring my pain. They took everything. I'll take it back. Clara, my cousin, texted, her words a rare lifeline in a family swayed by Greg's influence. You're stronger than their lies. Ellie. Keep going. Her support, a beacon in the darkness, reminded me of the $1,000 I'd given for Tyler's startup, the $500 for Linda's charity, my trust betrayed, their theft, a wound I'd turn into strength. The parking lot's hum was my only company. Boise's skyline dimmed through the rain-streaked windshield, my resolve a quiet fire growing hotter with each moment of defiance. I wasn't just surviving, I was planning. The Accord, my temporary fortress, the diary's truth, a promise to forge a new path, their control, a chain I'd break with one daring move, a camper that would become my home and my victory. My family's theft of my car was just the latest in a lifetime of control, but I stayed silent, planning a move that would reclaim my freedom. I shattered their lies, turning their arrogance into my triumph with a camper that became my sanctuary. Will my defiance end their reign forever, curled up in the driver's seat of my Honda Accord in a Boise grocery store parking lot, the cracked dashboard illuminated by the faint glow of a streetlight? I felt the weight of Greg's eviction order. You're out, and Tyler's mocking, you'll fail like a physical bruise. The car's dent, a jagged scar from their latest vacation, stared back at me, the interior still littered with their trash soda cans, greasy wrappers, a careless desecration of the one thing I'd fought to call my own. Boise's night was cold, the air sharp with the scent of diesel and damp asphalt. My diary open in my lap, its worn pages a raw chronicle of their betrayals, urging me to find a way out, to break free from the chains they'd forged over years of relentless control. Growing up in their Meridian home was like living in a pressure cooker, every moment a reminder of my place or lack thereof. Greg's entitlement, rooted in a childhood where his every whim was indulged, was the law of our household. His belief that family serves me an unspoken decree enforced with a steely glare and a sharp tongue. Tyler, his eager shadow, turned that arrogance into a cruel art form, mocking my protests as drama, their duo a relentless assault on my boundaries. At 14, I'd saved $200 for a bike, dreaming of rides to the library, only for Tyler to borrow it, wrecking the frame in a ditch, Greg dismissing my tears with a curt, "Share with your brother." Linda's "that's just how they are" was a weak excuse, her apathy enabling their thefts, my books, my clothes, my time, all fair game in their eyes. I'd learned to hide what mattered, locking my door, stashing my savings in a tin box, but they'd pry it open. Tyler's "you're paranoid" a gaslighting jab that echoed Greg's "don't make a fuss." The Accord was my defiance, a 1998 relic I'd bought for $2,000 from my hardware store job and freelance mechanic gigs. Its repairs, new tires, battery, exhaust, a labor of love. Each bolt tightened a silent vow to escape their control. I'd spent $1,500 on parts, countless nights under flickering garage lights, the engine's hum a promise of freedom. But to them, it was just another tool for their use, taken for joyrides without permission, returned, dented, and littered. Tyler's "it's old. Who cares" a dismissal of my pride. Greg's "it's just a car," a demand for my silence. Their control extended beyond objects, seeping into my ambitions. At 17, I'd won a scholarship for trade school, dreaming of opening a repair shop. But Greg redirected my college fund to Tyler's business venture, a tech startup that fizzled. Linda shrugging, "He needs it more." I'd given $800 for Greg's debts, $600 for Tyler's gear, my trust betrayed, my dreams shelved, their dismissal a wound that festered. Clara's warning, shared over coffee at Boise's Flying M Coffee House. Cut deep, Greg controls because you let him. Ellie. Break free. Her support was rare in a family swayed by Greg's influence. Her words a spark in the darkness of that parking lot. I journaled, sketching a shattered key, its jagged lines capturing my pain. They owned me. I'll own myself. The Accord's interior was cramped, the cold seeping through cracked windows, Boise's skyline dim through the rain-streaked windshield, my fear of failure clashing with a growing resolve to prove them wrong. I'd sacrificed $400 for Linda's fundraiser, $300 for Tyler's app, my savings drained, the car my last bastion. I painted a stormy sprig in my mind, its roots my vow to rise. They stole my car. I'll steal my life back. The diary's truth, raw and unyielding, was a promise to forge a new path. Their theft a catalyst for my escape. The camper idea a mobile home forming like a beacon in the night, a bold move to break their chains and claim my freedom. Greg and Tyler's theft of my Accord pushed me to the brink, but I stayed quiet. My one move a camper purchase shattering their control. I exposed their lies, turning their entitlement into my victory with a mobile home that defied their reach. Will my stand break their chains forever? The Boise grocery store parking lot was my temporary sanctuary. The Honda Accord's cracked seats, my bed. The faint hum of distant traffic my only companion as I scrolled Craigslist on my phone, stiff from another night curled up under a hoodie. Boise's dawn cast a pale, gray light through the windshield, the air heavy with the scent of damp pavement and exhaust. My diary tucked in my duffel, its pages a raw testament to Greg's "You're out" and Tyler's "You'll fail," urging me to find a way out. A listing caught my eye, a 2001 Keystone Cougar camper. $3, $500, its faded paint and dents promising not just shelter, but freedom, a home I could move, a fortress they couldn't touch, a bold declaration of independence. I'd saved $300 from my hardware store job and mechanic gigs, barely enough, but the idea of a camper ignited a spark of hope, a vision of a life beyond their reach. I called Clara, my cousin, the only family member not swayed by Greg's influence. I'm buying a camper. Can you help tow it? Her response was immediate, her voice warm over the crackling line. You're unstoppable, Ellie. I've got a truck. Clara's support, a rare beacon in a family darkened by Greg's control, gave me the courage to act. I contacted Sam, the seller, arranging to meet at his property 45 minutes outside Boise, a patchwork of overgrown grass and rusted vehicles that felt like a mirror to my own worn-out dreams. The Cougar stood weathered but sturdy, its frame solid despite the faded paint, its interior cramped but functional, a tiny kitchen, a bathroom, a bed, all I needed to start over. She's rough but reliable, Sam said, kicking a tire. Plumbing works, roofs sound, tires new. I circled the camper, running my hands along its dented sides, checking the undercarriage, the musty smell inside a challenge I could meet. How firm on the price, I asked, my heart pounding, knowing $3,500 was a stretch. Sam scratched his chin, sizing me up $3,000 if you haul it this week. I shook his hand. My savings stretched to the breaking point, but my resolve unyielding, the deal of victory over the doubt Greg and Tyler had planted. Clara met me at her land, 20 minutes from Boise, her sprawling property a mechanic's haven of old trucks and tools, her garage a sanctuary of grease and possibilities. You're really doing this, she grinned, rigging her truck to tow, her confidence bolstering mine. The drive to Sam's was nerve-wracking, the Cougar swaying behind us, Boise's rolling hills a backdrop to my leap into the unknown. But we made it, parking it on Clara's land under a canopy of pines. That night, I slept inside the camper, the mattress mildewy, the wallpaper peeling, the drip of the sink a quiet rhythm in the dark. It wasn't much, but it was mine, a home no one could take. I journaled, sketching a camper wheel, its spokes my defiance. They stole my car. This is my home. I'd given $200 for Tyler's startup, $800 for Greg's debts, my trust betrayed, their theft a wound I'd turn into strength. Clara's "You're stronger than their lies" echoed, her faith a counterpoint to Linda's silence. I'd sacrificed $500 for Linda's fundraiser, fortunes for Tyler's gear, my dreams opening a repair shop shelved. But the camper was my rebellion, its creaky frame a promise of freedom. I painted a starry sprig in my mind, its roots, my vow, they controlled me. I'll control my future. Boise's night was quiet, the diary's truth a beacon, the camper my fortress against their reach, their betrayal a fire I'd use to forge a new life, a bold move that would soon unravel their lies. My family's theft of my Accord was a betrayal I endured in silence, but my camper purchase became the move that broke their control. I exposed their lies, turning their arrogance into my triumph with a home they couldn't touch. Will my defiance end their reign forever? The Boise parking lot where I'd slept in my Accord felt like a limbo, the cracked seats digging into my back, the cold seeping through the windows as I woke to a gray dawn, the city's hum a distant reminder of the life I was leaving behind. Greg's "You're out" and Tyler's "You'll fail" echoed in my mind, their voices a challenge I was determined to overcome. My diary open on the passenger seat, its pages a raw chronicle of their betrayal, urging me to forge a new path. The camper, now parked on Clara's land, was my lifeline, a tooth-and-one Keystone Cougar I'd bought for $3,000, its faded paint and musty interior a canvas for my new beginning, a home I could call my own, free from their reach. Leaving Greg's Meridian house was a wrenching act of defiance. Each item I packed clothes, tools, books, a hard-won victory against their control. The Accord, dented and littered with their trash, was my only asset, its engine coughing but reliable as I drove away. The $300 in my glove compartment my entire safety net. I'd given $1,500 for Tyler's business, $1,000 for Greg's debts, my trust betrayed. Their theft of my car a final straw that pushed me to this point. Clara's land, 20 minutes from Boise, was my refuge, her sprawling property a haven of old trucks and tools, her garage a mechanic's paradise where I could work. The camper stood under pines, its creaky frame a symbol of my resolve. The first night inside a surreal mix of fear and freedom, the drip of the sink a quiet anthem of ownership. But Greg and Tyler weren't done. News of my camper spread through the family grapevine, likely through a cousin's careless mention, and soon they were back, pulling into Clara's driveway in Greg's battered truck, Tyler's smirk as smug as ever. Greg approached, eyeing the camper like a prize nice setup. Ellie. Needs work, though. Let us borrow it for a weekend. Tyler chimed in. It's just sitting here. You can spare it. My blood boiled, their audacity a fresh wound, but I stood firm. Ho! This is my home. Greg's face hardened. We're family. Families share. I shot back. You mean families let you take, not anymore. Tyler rolled his eyes. Always the victim. Huh. Clara, watching from the garage, stepped in, her voice steady. She said no. Greg. Leave. Greg glared, muttering unbelievable, and drove off, Tyler's sarcastic wave a parting jab. Family calls followed, aunts and cousins echoing Greg's narrative. Why can't you share he's your father? I journaled, sketching a locked gate. They want control. I'm done. I'd sacrificed $600 for Linda's charity, $400 for Tyler's app. My trust shattered, their pressure a wound I'd turn into strength. Clara's "You're unbreakable" was my anchor, Boise's pines whispering resilience, the camper's walls my fortress. I painted a stormy bridge in my mind, its arches my vow, they stole my past. I'll build my future. The diary's truth, raw and fierce, was a promise to stand firm, their entitlement a fire I'd use to forge my freedom, the camper my bold move to break their chains. My family's theft of my Accord was a wound I bore in silence, but my camper became the move that defied their control. I exposed their lies, turning their arrogance into my triumph with a home they couldn't steal. Will my stand break their chains forever? The camper, parked on Clara's Boise land, was my sanctuary, its 2001 Keystone Cougar frame a testament to my resolve, its musty interior slowly transforming with scrubbed surfaces, patched floors, and string lights from a dollar store. Boise's summer evenings were warm, the scent of pine and cut grass mingling with the faint hum of crickets. My diary open on a folding table, its pages raw with Greg's "You're selfish and Tyler's you'll fail," urging me to protect this new home at all costs. Clara's land, 20 minutes from Boise, was a haven, her garage a mechanic's paradise where I could tinker. But the peace was shattered when Greg and Tyler returned, their truck rumbling into the driveway, their audacity a fresh assault. Greg approached the camper, his eyes appraising Need's TLC, Ellie. "Let us take it for a weekend." Tyler smirked. "It's just sitting here." "Don't be stingy." My heart raced, their entitlement a knife twisting in old wounds. But I stood firm. "This is my home." "No." Greg's tone hardened. Families help each other. I shot back. "You mean I help you? I'm done." Tyler scoffed. "Always so dramatic." Clara, wiping grease from her hands, stepped in. She said no. "Leave?" Greg muttered ungrateful and drove off. Tyler's wave mocking, but their retreat was temporary, their control a shadow I couldn't shake. Family calls flooded in, aunts echoing Greg's lies. "Why can't you share?" "He's your dad." I journaled, sketching a barred gate. They demand everything. "I'll give nothing." The real threat came weeks later, at 2 a. "Ma." When footsteps woke me, deliberate and heavy, followed by a metallic clink at the camper's hitch. Peering through the window, I saw Greg and Tyler, crouched, trying to unhook it, Greg fumbling with tools, Tyler holding a flashlight, their stealth a chilling betrayal. Fury replaced fear. I burst out, shouting, "What the hell are you doing?" They jumped, Greg dropping a wrench, Tyler stammering, "Just borrowing it." I cut him off. "You're stealing my home. Get out." Clara's porch light flared, her silhouette wielding a crowbar. "Leave, or I call the cops." Greg muttered curses, Tyler waving sarcastically as they fled, their truck's rumble fading into the night. I journaled, sketching a flaming sprig. They tried to steal my home. "I'll protect it." I'd given $1,800 for Tyler's business, $1,200 for Greg's debts. My trust shattered. Their attempt a wound I'd turn into strength. Clara's "They're desperate" was my anchor. Boise's stars bright, the camper's locks my shield. I installed motion sensor lights, heavy-duty locks, and a GPS tracker, turning the camper into a fortress, each bolt a vow they controlled me. I control my fate. The diary's truth, fierce and unyielding, was a promise to stand firm. Their betrayal a fire I'd use to forge my freedom. Boise's quiet a canvas for my defiance. Greg and Tyler's attempt to steal my camper fueled my resolve, but my silence hid a move that broke their control. I exposed their lies, turning their arrogance into my triumph with a stand that reclaimed my freedom. Will my defiance end their reign forever? The camper, now a fortified haven on Clara's Boise land, was my pride. Its patched floors and string lights a testament to my resilience, the scent of fresh paint mingling with pine as I worked on its frame. Boise's summer days were warm, the hum of Clara's garage a comforting rhythm, my diary open on a crate, its pages raw with Greg's "You're selfish" and Tyler's "You're dramatic," urging me to stand firm. Clara's land, 20 minutes from Boise, was my sanctuary, but the family barbecue she hosted brought Greg and Tyler back, their presence a dark cloud over the sunny gathering, their entitlement a wound I'd no longer bear in silence. The barbecue buzzed with cousins and aunts, cornhole games, and laughter, a fleeting normalcy I craved. I parked the camper off to the side, its silhouette a quiet defiance, hoping to reconnect with less toxic relatives. But Greg arrived, his scowl locking onto the camper, Tyler trailing with his trademark smirk. Greg marched over, voice loud. You brought this junk here to show off, couldn't let me borrow it. I sighed, exhausted. It's my home, Dad. I decide. Tyler chimed in. Making it all about you, huh, classy? The crowd hushed, eyes on us, their drama a spectacle. I stood firm. You stole my car, tried to take my home. I'm done. Aunt Zoe, usually quiet, stepped in, her voice sharp. They're right, Greg. You control and take. Everyone sees it. Greg's face reddened, Tyler stunned, the family silent, some nodding, others shifting uncomfortably. Greg muttered, no respect, and stormed off, Tyler trailing their retreat of victory. Zoe hugged me. You're not alone. I journaled, sketching a blazing gate. They tried to break me. I stood tall. I'd given $2,000 for Tyler's startup, $1,500 for Greg's fees, my trust betrayed, their attack a wound I'd turn into strength. Clara's "You're a warrior" echoed, Boise's dusk glowing, the camper's walls my fortress. I painted a starry bridge in my mind, its arches my vow they owned me. I own myself. The diary's truth, fierce and unyielding, was a promise to rise, their control a fire I'd use to forge my freedom, the barbecue a turning point where I was finally seen. Greg and Tyler's barbecue attack was a warning, but their final theft attempt pushed me to act, breaking their control. I exposed their lies, turning their arrogance into my triumph with a legal stand that secured my freedom. Will my defiance end their reign forever? The camper, now a fortress on Clara's Boise land, was my haven, its motion sensor lights and GPS tracker a shield against Greg and Tyler's entitlement, the fresh paint and polished floors a testament to my resilience. Boise's summer nights were warm, the scent of pine and motor oil from Clara's garage a comforting backdrop, my diary open on a makeshift desk, its pages raw with Greg's no respect and Tyler's "You're making it about you," urging me to protect my home at all costs. Clara's support, her land a sanctuary 20 minutes from Boise, gave me strength, but the quiet was shattered when I left for a work trip, a 2-day stint at a hardware store branch in Twin Falls, leaving the camper vulnerable. I'd triple-checked the locks, set the GPS, and asked Clara to watch it, joking about needing a guard dog. They won't dare, she said, but I wasn't so sure. The first night, at 2A. Mrrr. My phone buzzed with a GPS alert the camper was moving, cruising down Old Mill Road, halfway to Boise. My stomach dropped, fury replacing shock as I called Clara. Did you move it? Her sharp curse confirmed my fear. It's Greg. I'm going after them. I dialed the police, explaining the theft, my voice trembling but firm, the title and GPS logs my proof. The dispatcher promised to intercept, advising against confrontation, but I was 100 miles away, helpless, my heart racing with the betrayal. Clara caught up, calling they're on Old Mill. Greg's driving, Tyler's shotgun. Cops are coming. She stayed back, watching as police lights flashed, pulling Greg over at his driveway. Greg argued, its family property falling flat, Tyler throwing a fit as officers secured the camper. I returned to Boise, giving a statement at the station. The officers, "You sure about charges?" met with my resolute, "Yes." He's crossed lines too long. Greg pleaded guilty, fined heavily, and ordered to pay restitution, his fury irrelevant. I journaled, sketching a locked camper. They stole my home. I fought back. I'd given $2,500 for Tyler's business, $1,800 for Greg's fees. My trust shattered. Their theft a wound I'd turned into justice. Clara's "You're unstoppable" was my anchor. Boise's dawn bright, the camper's frame, my fortress. I painted a blazing sprig in my mind, its roots my vow they broke me. I'm whole. The diary's truth, fierce and unyielding, was a promise to rise, their betrayal a fire I'd used to forge my freedom, the legal win a triumph that broke their control. Greg's arrest was my victory, but my camper life and community support solidified my freedom, breaking their control. I exposed their lies, turning their arrogance into my triumph with a stand that redefined my worth. Will my defiance end their reign forever? The camper, now a polished haven on Clara's Boise land, glowed with string lights, its patched floors and fresh paint a testament to my resilience, the scent of pine and coffee mingling as I worked on its frame. Boise's summer days were vibrant, the hum of Clara's garage a rhythm of possibility, my diary open on a crate, its pages raw with Greg's "You're selfish" and Tyler's victim, urging me to build a life beyond their reach. Clara's land, 20 minutes from Boise, was my sanctuary. The community barbecue a turning point where Aunt Zoe's stand. You control and take shifted the family's gaze. But Greg's arrest was the true break. His fine and restitution a public rebuke of his entitlement. Family reactions split some, like Cousin Lila, called me too harsh, echoing Greg's "she's ungrateful," while others, like Zoe, praised my courage. It's time someone stopped him. Tyler sulked, his call ignored, his victim act transparent. Community support grew, neighbors helped patch the camper. Kids chalked "Stay Strong" on Clara's driveway, their warmth a contrast to my family's coldness. I journaled, sketching a blooming gate. They rejected me. I'm enough. I'd given $3,000 for Tyler's startup, $2,000 for Greg's debts. My trust shattered. Their lies a wound I'd turned into strength. Clara's "You're a Legend" echoed, Boise's dusk vibrant, the camper's walls my home. I painted a starry cedar in my mind, its branches my vow, they erased me. I'm seen. The diary's truth, fierce and unyielding, was a promise to thrive. Their control a fire I'd used to forge my freedom. The community my new family. Their divide a testament to my stand. Greg's defeat was my liberation, but my camper life and community became my legacy, breaking their control forever. I exposed their lies, turning their arrogance into my triumph with a mobile home that carried my freedom. Will my defiance inspire others to rise? The camper, now road-ready, was my pride, its polished floors and string lights a testament to my resilience, parked on Clara's Boise land until I hit the road. Boise's summer nights glowed, the scent of campfire and pine a balm. My diary open on a folding table, its pages raw with Greg's "You're out" and Tyler's "You'll fail," now relics of a past I'd overcome. Clara's land, 20 minutes from Boise, had been my haven, but the open road called, the camper my ticket to a life I'd define, free from their chains. I'd saved $1,000 from mechanic gigs, enough for gas and supplies, Clara helping tune the camper's system's propane, water, locks. "You're leaving," she said, her grin proud as we hitched it to my truck. "Don't be a stranger." I hugged her "You're unstoppable," a lifeline. I drove to a campsite outside Boise, the Accord towing the Cougar, stars bright overhead. The campfire's crackle a quiet anthem of freedom. I journaled, sketching a starry sprig. They stole my past. I built my future. I'd given $3,500 for Tyler's business, $2,500 for Greg's fees. My trust shattered, their theft a wound I'd turned into triumph. Greg's arrest, Tyler's silence, faded, their control broken, my peace earned through resilience. Neighbors' chalk art "You Matter" lingered in my memory. Boise's community, my new family, their support a contrast to my family's betrayal. I painted a blooming cedar in my mind, its roots my vow, they broke me. I'm whole. The diary's truth, fierce and unyielding, was my guide, the camper, my home, the road, my legacy freedom, resilience, peace, a light for others, their betrayal a storm I'd outlasted.